It's recording. Okay, so like,
So we're good.
I don't know. Sometimes this
It acts up.
it just
Oh, sometimes it
it
records
just
and
says
sometimes
no.
it doesn't.
It just says no sometimes. It's like I'm not gonna record today. Looks like it's doing it,
Yeah.
and then this other thing's recording.
Is it?
So I guess this is an episode now.
Yes, it is. Welcome back.
Okay, sure. This is you're listening to Free Minds, the season 2 episode. I don't know, 6,
6 or 7.
6. I forget. We're doing Spanish.
Let's
Everything's in Spanish now. Plugs. Do plugs.
Yeah, what you been up to?
Stuff. Let's say it's about to be the new year. Yeah, when this comes out, it'll be like almost the new year.
Your new book?
Yeah, you making some New Year's resolutions?
Not yet.
Not yet. Well, what if you make some and like you want to know if like maybe are they going to work out? Like what's going to happen? What do you think you'll do?
Well, for one, I'll buy your new book.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, there's a book, Evergreen. We are not the mask we wear. We're the light that shines through. That book's out. You can buy that on Amazon. My second book's actually with my publisher now.
Okay.
So I don't know if it'll be out yet though. Probably won't. But that one is called Evergreen: The Unraveling of Love. That's like part 2 in this 3-part book series. And then so those things are out. But John, you just didn't help me out on the first plug. So if you like wanted to like know if your New Year's resolutions are gonna work out, you'd probably like, would you go to Clarity and Insight?
I go to Clarity Insight.
Yeah. We're it's a metaphysical center off Barcliff Road in Druid Hills. Let's call it that. It's in Atlanta, but it's in the Druid Hills area off Exit 89. We also have a psychic fair on, I guess it'll be the first weekend of January, and that'll be at Energy Yoga Studio. If you want to drop by, they are only $20 for 2 sessions, so it's pretty cheap. You can drop in, get 2 15-minute sessions for $20. It's a pretty good time. And then stuff for Free Minds. If you want to follow us on Instagram, we're trey.thealchemistcompass. On Facebook, we are free-minds. So like us and stuff, give us validation because we're insecure and we need it. What else? Is there other stuff?
I think that's it.
Okay, cool. So we're here on an episode then. With who are you?
John is back.
John is back. Is that your last name?
John is back.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go with that.
John is back. And Trey Jackson, that's me. And then we have
And Deana Panza.
Deana Panza. I like your last name.
Yeah, it means big belly in Italian.
Really?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you embrace that?
I do.
You trying to make it like a 3D manifestation?
Yeah, I mean, I try.
Yeah.
I do what I can.
So if you just want to like give like a high level blurb about kind of what you do, we'll discuss it briefly, but then we're gonna jump into a video and then we'll just kind of go into conversation.
Cool. Right now I am a yoga teacher and I'm currently getting my master's in mental health counseling. I just started my internship, so I am counseling. That's pretty much what I'm doing right now.
Cool.
I'm really narrowing it down. I'm very proud of myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. As opposed to like,
honing in.
for me, it's like I'm an author, but I'm also an intuitive coach. Also, I'm a psychic. Also, I do meditation stuff. Just like pick one.
Yeah.
I like that. Cool. So we're going to watch a little video to kind of like, this is like mood lighting for the episode for us. And I don't know, make us get into our emotional bodies or something. And then we'll just talk and stuff. Mainly the and stuff part.
We have to learn. We don't have to, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to go on living. But it's a great idea, it's a great thing, if you can learn what the Chinese call purposelessness. They think nature is purposeless. When we say something's purposeless, that's put down. There's no future in it. It's a washout. But when they hear the word purposeless, they think that's just great. When Chinese say nature is purposeless, this is a compliment. It's like watching wild geese fly and be hidden in the clouds. As watching a ship vanish behind a distant island. as wandering on and on in a great forest with no thought of return. Haven't you done this? Haven't you gone on a walk with no particular purpose in mind? Carry a stick with you and you occasionally hit at old stumps and wander along and sometimes twiddle your thumbs. It's at that moment that you learn purposelessness. All music is purposeless. Is music getting somewhere? If it were, if the aim of music were, of a symphony, were to get to the final bar, the best conductor would be the one who got there fastest. See, dancing, when you dance, do you aim to arrive at a particular place on the floor? Is that the idea of dancing? Huh? Well, it's exactly the same with our life. We think life has a purpose. Now, it's like the waves washing against the shore, going on and on and on forever with no meaning. Like the birds in the trees go, twee, 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 twee. What's it all about? Everybody tries to say, it's a mating call. It's purposeful. Trying to get their mate, attract them with a song. That's why they have colors. Butterflies have eyes on them. Self-protection. Engineering view of the universe. Why do that? They say, well, it's because they need to survive. Oh, why survive? What's that for? Well, to survive. And they say, well, that's terribly serious. That's awfully important. We've got to keep on doing this. You pick up a pebble on the beach. Look at it. Beautiful. Don't try and get a sermon out of it. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the pebble. If you do that, you become healthy. You become able to be a loving, helpful human being. Here's the choice. Are you going to trust it or not? If you do trust it, you may get let down. And this it is yourself, your own nature, and all nature around you. There are going to be mistakes. But if you don't trust it at all, you're going to strangle yourself. To live, I must have faith. I must trust myself to the totally unknown. I must trust myself to a nature which doesn't have a boss.
So there's stuff in that video. I liked when he said, when you pick up a pebble, don't try to get a sermon out of it. It's like, I think it's just an individual expression, and it's just doing its own thing. And, we as humans are all just individual expressions of consciousness. And like, we always want to compare ourselves to each other and be like, am I doing good enough? Is this acceptable? And then, I don't know. It's like we're always trying to get to a better version compared to something else, as opposed to just being okay with who we are, and that's the expression we are. And maybe it's a bunch of different types of things, but the point's never to compare. The point's never to like go for some crazy purpose where we try to get to this expectation and then we don't reach the expectation, and then we're pissed that we don't become this thing that we've always expected we would be, even though like maybe the point was to actually become this other thing through the journey of trying to be this one thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
So I don't know what your like particular human journey's been like, but like we all learn to find ourselves in different ways and like learn to be okay with who we are in different ways. And I'm just kind of we're kind of curious about like what your journey's been like to get where you are, and then kind of what you're trying to do now, but all that.
Yeah. So I feel like from a really little kid, I've always been who I am. I've always been able to express myself. My family's always welcomed that. I grew up in a really, really small town that always welcomed strangeness, somebody who's unique, somebody who's different. And so it's kind of always been a part of who I am, where it made it easy for me to explore. But the question was always, okay, but what do I want? What do I want to do? Who do I want to be? And I've tried so many things under the book. I played every sport growing up as a kid. I tried every type of dance. I tried 3 different musical instruments. I tried, art classes, a little bit of everything to try to see what I liked. But I like it all.
Yeah.
I like it all. And that's kind of where my biggest fault has almost been.
If you want to call it a fault. But
yeah, I know. That's where I'm like, it's been hard, but it's hard for me to just center in and focus. It's like, all right, so I like this over here and this over here. How do I build this all into one house? And, then I went on to college and I graduated with 3 majors and 2 minors.
Holy crap.
I just didn't know what I wanted to do, so I just kept adding stuff on. And I graduated, I was marketing, management, human resources, fashion merchandising, and photography.
Jeez.
And
Yeah.
I remember somebody looked at me and they were like, oh, so you want to be a fashion advertising photographer.
I like the
and
label.
I was like, I've never thought of that, but I guess that makes sense with what I went into.
Yeah.
But really, I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I just kept adding stuff on. My first job out of college, I was working in New York City for a fashion label. I worked in 3 different departments: their e-commerce, their marketing, and their merchandising. And also I did some in-store stuff for them, some in-store setup.
Did that get confusing?
So it was a lot. It was
Yeah.
a lot for a 21, 22-year-old. I was working from like 7 to 11.
Oh, okay. So
And then commuting back
you
to New Jersey.
You weren't getting burned out.
Yeah, no, it was
Jeez.
great. But it was hard for me to leave that because I felt like I was getting so much experience and I still didn't know what I wanted to do.
Right.
And I was enjoying all aspects. And to have a job that allows me to work in all those different areas is very rare to come by. And then I went and I left there because I was burnt out. And I went to a job where I did one thing. And I was like, this isn't going to work for me.
Right. Because you're like used to this. I do things all the time. And I'm always going. Is that kind of
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I left there. I moved down here. I was just like, I got to get out of New York in general. So
Yeah.
I moved down here and I started working for a tech company, doing a little bit of everything. It was my friend's startup. And so that was fun because it was new and it was different and I got to touch in all different areas. But I still wasn't feeling fulfilled in the fact that I come from a long line of people that help.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I needed to feel like when I was waking up and I was going to go and do whatever I was doing, that I was making a difference. And so that was kind of this missing piece that I felt like I was missing from everything that I was doing, everything that I had done so far in my life. And so I started
How long like
You're
when
good.
when you're like I'm not fulfilled, how long does it take for that feeling to kick in to like when that's like wait, it's every day, it's like, oh crap, am I gonna go do this thing I don't like? Or because I know when we start something new we're really excited about it, and I'm just curious like when the I guess the honeymoon effect starts to wear off at these jobs.
I'm really good at having side jobs.
Okay.
I'm really good at having little side things going on, little side projects. So I am able to feel that and then immediately fill the void with something that fills that up. So I started volunteering, and that's always volunteering in different aspects has always been a part of my life. I've volunteered with animals, with children, with people in crisis, all different things. And I've enjoyed all of them, equally. They all provide something different to my life, to my soul, that makes me feel fulfilled, that makes me feel like I'm growing and learning. And so that's what I did. I started to volunteer, but really, really regularly. And I was doing counseling online, and I liked it. I went through a little training and I liked it. So that filled the void for a little while. And then I realized that was like something that I was looking forward to all of the time.
Yeah. That's a neat thing to recognize.
So I started to go back to school, and then I realized this isn't going to be enough. I need more.
Yep.
And so I started to get my teacher training
Yeah.
in yoga. And then I realized this wasn't enough. I need more.
So
I've done
you
Reiki,
talk a lot about like feeling the
meditation.
void. Wow. Wow.
I've done, I'm trying to fill all the areas, and
Are you a Reiki master too?
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm not there yet. One day though.
Yep.
I'm getting there.
Join me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the goal, or one of the goals, right?
Right.
And I think that everything interplays together. There's something called multipotentialite.
Oh, what's that?
I know. So there's a TED talk about it. My husband saw it and he was like, this is you. This is you. Like, my friends joke about how many certifications I have and how I'm always going for different trainings and different new jobs and things like that. And it's essentially saying that you have so many different interests that like fulfill you, I guess, that you can't just choose one thing, and that they tend to be people that are like organizing executives, where they get to work with all the different departments
Makes sense.
that do different areas and then bring it all together. So that's how also part of what I'm trying to title myself as, I guess.
Yeah, multi-potential.
Yeah, unintentionally, but it's definitely happened.
That's cool. You mentioned like trying to fill a void some, and like I think everyone on earth is doing that.
Yeah,
You know?
always.
When did you like when you were doing it, were you like recognizing like what you were doing, or was it like after the fact you're like, I'm trying to like fill this hole in me without even recognizing that's what I'm trying to do? If that makes sense.
100%. I plow through things without really realizing it and then reflect afterwards. I think that that's a lot of how I get to continue to push through, is by not even just being like, oh yeah, let's add this to the pile. Let's add this to the pile. And then all of a sudden I'm like, all right, what am I actually doing? Okay. But 100%. And I think that these voids occur from each new thing that I add to my life, because it opens up this new area where all of a sudden I'm like, well, wait, if this is happening, well, what about this? Now we got to learn about this. Now we got to jump in that area. And it just keeps building on itself. And it's really an awesome thing.
Was there any aha moment when you talk about your transition into where you are now? Was there any aha moment though, like when you were at your corporate job and you were like, oh, hold on?
I think so. Yeah. I was just like, this just isn't for me.
Yeah.
And it was hard because at some point in my younger years in high school, I decided I wanted to go into the fashion industry. I thought I wanted to be a designer. I went to Parsons for a little while. I spent a summer in Parsons, decided, nope, that wasn't for me. But I didn't, it was all of us. I think it was part of that. I didn't feel fulfilled in, I had this moment where I woke up and I said, if I don't go to work today, it genuinely doesn't matter.
Yep.
Nothing bad happens.
Right.
And, yes, they will not be happy. But, but to me, and that's not to say that there's anything belittling that job, because it does matter to so many people. And fashion is a form of expression. And I think that there's so much to be said for that. But to me, it wasn't what mattered to me. Yeah. And that was when I needed to reassess what I was doing. And, I was living in an apartment in the Lower East Side, and it was a great apartment. I loved the location, but I had a window that was the size of my hand in my bedroom, and it looked out to an alley.
So
and
really luxury.
Yeah. And I was just like, I'm not healthy right now.
Yeah.
I'm not healthy in a lot of aspects, and I needed to remove myself from the situation and kind of just start fresh in a different light.
How did Atlanta come into the picture?
So I went to college in the University of South Carolina.
Okay.
And a lot of my friends were either from the North or they were from Atlanta. And I always liked Atlanta. I would visit here during college a lot. And I always liked the fact that it was a city, but you could have space. and you could breathe and you could drive, and you didn't take that long to get outside and into some woods and into some open fields. And especially after being in that tiny apartment, I was like, I think that's where I gotta go. I think that it'll give me a little bit of everything. And also, Atlanta's got so much going for it.
Yep.
I moved here 4 years ago, and it's just got so much growth potential and so much creative, so much going on.
Yeah, I thought about, I was like, I'm going to go out live in Oregon or Washington or California at some point. But now I'm just kind of like, Atlanta's just kind of shifted into something I might actually like. Like, it's besides the traffic, like.
Yes.
You can get that anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say it was different in New York because I always thought that my friends were exaggerating when they were talking about the traffic, because I never felt it when I was in Atlanta, because I was always in the passenger seat. I was never driving myself. The first day that I moved here, I was like, what is this? And I had just gotten excited to be back behind my car again, like driving. That ended really quickly, but it's okay.
Sure. Well, so one of my friends was like, well, you can just meditate while you drive. And like,
Not really.
Can you?
yeah.
Can do
Different
some
kind of
breathing
energy.
exercises.
Yeah, there's some breathing exercises that can happen. I do Uber and Lyft a little bit, so I get to live in that world sometimes.
Yeah.
So the breathing exercises do happen.
That's good. Do you keep it local or do you go all over?
Whenever you pick up an Uber or Lyft passenger, you got to go where they want to go.
Wherever,
So,
yeah.
like, I might go from like the Atlanta airport to Marietta to Kennesaw,
Oh, wow.
back to the city. Like,
Jeez.
yeah, it's just
All
crazy.
day.
But yes, you came down here. I guess we were talking about you starting to work as a yoga instructor, and that's when you kind of, I guess, I don't know if it still feels like I'm feeling a void, or if it's like this just feels right. There's kind of, I don't know if there's a difference, but it's more like you said, you were looking forward to doing the therapy, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I also had started kind of my side business of doing marketing, PR, and some social media stuff for small businesses around Atlanta. And that's what I was doing while I was going to school. And I was just feeling like there was this divide in my life. Like I was still holding on to my past while working towards my future and not really living anything that was satisfying me in the present, because I was really over all of that marketing stuff. I was past that. But I wasn't ready to start counseling. I'm still just getting there. And I've wanted to be a yoga teacher for a long time. I started yoga when I was in high school. And it just felt like, you know what, now's the time. Because what's going to happen? I'm going to become a counselor, and then I'll have even less time. And there's never a right time to do anything.
Right.
And I am not even sure if that was probably the right time. It was a lot on my plate, but I got through it and I love it. And it's been this awesome thing that's given me an opportunity to begin the path that I'm seeking to take now, this new veered path. But I call it a new path, but it's not, because even everything that I've done in the past has led me to this, and everything that I've done in the past, I'm able to bring to this situation as well. You know, I've been able to help out studios in a more business-minded manner. I've been able to approach my own private teaching classes in a more business-minded manner. Everything's been built upon itself. Everything happened exactly the way that it was supposed to happen. Regardless of how I felt about it in the moment, when you look back, it all makes sense, and it always does. It's an incredible thing. No matter what it is, it always makes sense when you look back.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I used to think I hated my corporate job, but then I worked with databases, and now I am teaching intuition in a way that's kind of related to how databases work. It's really weird how it happened the way it did, but it's interesting because at the time you're like, I'm never going to use this again or whatever it is, right? But then
oh man.
I think the important thing I got out of that was when is the right time? Because I think, Trey, you talked about this when you quit your job. You were like, "Hey, I'm gonna quit in like 6 months."
Yeah.
And then I think you talked to your therapist, and they were like, "Why?"
And then this happened.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just people, you have to find the courage to just go for it, right?
For sure.
That's huge.
And I think people live in this, well, I'm going to have this aha moment where I feel ready.
Right.
But you've been ready. Once you start thinking about it, once it's already happening inside of your head, you're ready. Your brain has switched. Your mind has switched. But it's just giving yourself that extra push. Well, I need to save money to be able to do this. I moved down to Atlanta. I did not have a job when I first moved down here. I had just quit my job up there, and I thought that I was going to be moving down here with a lot more money than I did. But then I got bit by a dog, and I know.
I know what it's like.
Don't pet homeless dogs.
Don't break up cat fights.
Don't pet a homeless cat.
Yeah.
There you go. I've heard cat bites are actually worse because their teeth are longer.
Bite
Yeah.
your bone.
Yeah.
But so you
So-
get bit by a dog.
Yeah, so that wiped me out a lot.
Yeah.
So when I moved down here, I was moving down here with nothing essentially, and there was definitely I remember the moment that I pulled up to the house that I was moving into, and I sat in my car and I was like, "Oh my God, what have I done? How did I get here?" And then I just got out of the car and I was like, all right, well, this is where we are now. Let's do this. And it's not ever easy to leave something that, regardless of if it's satisfying to us, it's comfort. It's home, and we know we're good at it. We're there. We're already living it. We know that we know how to do it. So to push into the unknown of something that you don't know, something that you could fail at, is horrifying.
Yeah, they say one of the most dangerous things is being comfortable.
Yeah. You settle.
Yeah.
You settle a little bit.
settle
And then
in, yeah.
you block off this opportunity for growth, and this opportunity for learning, and this opportunity to evolve. And I mean, I don't wish that for anyone.
Yeah.
I hope that everyone is always constantly learning, and in anything,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
even if it's not traditional books and things like that.
Just learning about yourself.
Yeah, never feeling like you're set in your ways, or this is how things have to be, or anything like that. It's the opportunity to grow is always there.
Especially these days. I mean, there's so much technology, things are easy to do these days.
Right?
People need to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all out there. It's all out there.
Yeah, the internet makes you can pretty much do whatever you want now. Like,
Yeah.
really, you can. I mean, but there's that uncomfortable factor. And I think
Yeah.
the moment of panic is real too. Because I had that. And I was like, oh, look at all those books I haven't sold. And then I'm just sitting here like, what did I just do? Like, and it's horrifying for a second. But then, like you said, you're like, all right, well, this is what it is,
Yeah. Exactly. And my mom said to me at one point, I think when I was thinking about going back to school, and I was like, but by the time that I graduate, I'm going to be this old and I'll be so late in the field. And she was like, you're going to be that old no matter what. You may as well be that old and be happy about what you're doing and feel content with what you've learned, and like you're continuing to grow, instead of be that old and still be wondering, should I start this? Should I begin this? Just start down the path, even if it's something minimal.
Yeah. Little things.
Yeah,
Little
Yeah.
things. Like just starting a journal.
exactly.
I mean, they could be that simple.
Exactly.
And then that leads to another thing, and then that leads to another thing. It all connects, and it all makes sense. I like what you said earlier about how like you're ready when you're starting to think about it, and like you're already ready. And like I think Peter Dinklage was like, the actor, he was like, don't tell the world you're ready, show it, do it, and like that's really what it takes to start this new chapter in your life, is just doing it.
Yeah.
And then you learn along the way. You probably mess up or whatever, but
Yeah.
you learn, right?
Yeah. And it's never a failure as long as you're learning. And there's something to be learned from every single experience. So just get out there and do it.
Yeah, that word failure has so many negative, and we probably, it's just like, why do we even use that word? It's so negative.
Very true. Yeah, because it's like, it's an experience.
It's a learning experience.
It's just that the experience maybe didn't go the way that you thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
So it's just a different experience than you were planning to have, which doesn't make it a bad one.
But then how can we make it the most beneficial it can be, given that it went this way? It's like, well, maybe I learned 4 or 5 different things about it, and now it won't go that way again, right? Like, otherwise, if everything just works out perfectly every time, then what are we even doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
And how do you know to react when it goes wrong that one time?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you live in a sheltered environment, and this is a different example, but like your parents like just make everything perfect for you your whole life, and then you go out into the world and like things aren't perfect anymore, then it's gonna be really frustrating.
Yeah, a little scary probably.
Yeah, that too.
So
Yeah.
Everyone gets a trophy environment.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it.
Yes.
We could talk a whole episode about that one.
A participation award.
We'll get back into what you're doing now, but something like way earlier in the podcast you mentioned is that you've never had a problem expressing yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've met other people that are like, I live in a box. What are you talking about? Get in your box. Like, I don't know. And not that they're telling you to, but it's almost like you want to like help them be like, no, you don't have to like be like this,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you've run into those kind of people in your life, or like
Yes,
you've been
100%. And my heart goes out to them. And, to say I've never had a problem expressing myself was probably a little rash, but I've always had a place that I could express myself, whether it was at home, whether it was with friends. And when I first enter an experience or an environment, I tend to be more to myself. I'm really more of an outgoing person, but when I first enter an environment, I tend to keep more to myself and just observe. I think that that's a trait that I learned from my dad. Observe and then react. And I think that it helps me understand what I can bring to a situation. And I think that once we understand what we have to offer in an environment, we're more confident in being able to give that to it. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. Because then we feel like, oh, this is something that's missing from here, and I have that in me, and I can offer that here. And you realize nobody else is going to bring that to the table because they can't. And that's what's so awesome, going back to how you said, your path, you thought you were never going to use the earlier stuff again, and then now you do. And that's what makes what you bring to the table so unique, because of your path. I spend a lot of time in my classes and on my Instagram, I feel like, trying to share that what people have inside of them is unique to them, no matter what way you cut it. I don't care if you do the exact same thing as the person to the left of you.
Right.
You do it in a completely different way. Your mind is working in a very different way. And it's encouraging people to understand that who they are in their unique selves is exactly what the world needs. It's exactly what needs to be brought out there, because nobody else can do it. Regardless of if you think somebody else can do it, no one else can. No one else can do it in the exact same way that you can. And that's where that confidence kind of has to start to build from, I think.
And a lot of us, I used to say this to myself. It's like, well, people are already doing that, so I'm not going to do it. And that's where we stop a lot of the times. That's where a lot of humanity stops, is that it's already been done. But it really hasn't. And there's
we wouldn't have a Facebook if MySpace wasn't there.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
I thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very true.
It's somebody else. There's a book called Steal Like an Artist. I don't know, but it just talks about how, like, anytime somebody's trying to make a new song, usually it's because, they like a bunch of different types of music beforehand, and all of those different types of music influence the way, or even the music they play to influences the way that this new song comes out, even though they think that they're just trying to emulate the Beatles. Even though you're trying to emulate the Beatles, you're stealing from them. It's actually just going to be something completely different because you're the one that's doing it,
Yeah. Exactly.
And we forget that, we're not really stealing. We're not really, it hasn't been done before. Like, I think that's a point that needs to be driven home a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that understanding that helps you feel more confident in taking that step forward.
Yeah. It hasn't been done before. It hasn't. I think I made a post like 2 days ago about that. But
Really?
Yeah.
Good.
I love your Instagram, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I think my favorite post that I've ever seen on there was the one where you were like, you just showed you messing up a bunch, basically. Yeah, but like.
But it's real.
Mm-hmm.
It's real. I think that that's missed sometimes in that world. People. I actually just posted about this the other day. People like to make you think that they're living in this perfect world, that everything that they do is this beautiful picture of perfection. And it's very rarely the case.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Not enough realness is showed on there. So
You don't get to see the Instagram boyfriend taking the picture.
yes, exactly. Exactly. Somebody asked me one time, they're like, how do you get all your pictures? I was like, sometimes my phone is in a shoe. Sometimes I got somebody on the other end. So,
Yeah.
it's, ooh.
My cat's being of interest right now. He's going to get stuck in there. He doesn't even know what he's doing.
Aw,
He has obsessive I need petting disorder.
that's all right.
Yeah.
He'll learn. My cat yesterday chewed through my wire from my computer and got shocked a bunch of times.
Oh,
Not funny.
Not funny, but it was kind of funny though. I kind of laughed.
but that'll never happen again.
Yeah, that won't.
See, the cat made a mistake and now learned
It learned,
that it's
right?
not going to do that again.
Learned from failure.
And you have to fail.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So what you're
Today.
you're doing the yoga instructor stuff and you're doing the therapy, and you said you're like actually starting to like look forward to those therapy sessions. I feel like what you said earlier is like when you go into a room, you kind of be present and see what's going on and how you can help. And that's like perfect for if you're doing therapy because you're present, you see what's going on, and then how can I help?
I kind of started to choose that field because I was like, well, I like doing this in my own life. And, through school, I've learned it's very different than exactly what I thought it was when I first started.
Yeah.
But it's definitely got a lot of the same similar tools. And I don't know, it'll be an interesting journey for sure.
So what do you want to do with that? Do you want to open up your own practice or?
My original plan, and I've gone back to it and evolved from it and changed it a million different times.
Yep.
But my original plan was to develop a wellness center, a place that people who don't necessarily feel like they have something wrong, but they know that they need all of these different things to be well, to be full and whole. So, I would need a lot of land to really do what I want to do,
Yeah.
but it would involve counseling, music therapy, art therapy. It would have a basketball court. It would have yoga. It would have a dance studio. It would have a little tiny cafe where you could get some healthy food. It would have this room where you can just go and scream and pound on the walls.
Yes.
It would have,
No, that's my favorite one so far.
right? It would have
Give me a room where I can break shit and I'll be happy.
Yes, it would have a room with old TVs and computers that you can hit with a bat and all of these different things. And it would have groups, group counseling, but not in kind of removing that stigmatism
Right.
around
Yeah.
it, inviting in a full gym, a spa, massage, acupuncture, things like that, so that it's kind of this place almost like a
Retreat almost?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost
Yeah.
like a retreat center, but it's like where you go on Wednesday after work. Or, and
just
you're
to get
able
away.
to, you just pay one fee and you're able to do any of these things whenever you like. I don't know.
Probably pick a few of them, but yeah.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
We've talked about an idea similar to that. Like
Yeah, I
in the
wanna
North
do the
Georgia
same thing,
mountains or
kind of.
something. Like have
Yeah.
something to get away. A
Yeah,
place to get away. Like no technology, nothing.
exactly.
Just
Yeah, have a bucket for your phones when you go in the door.
Seriously. Or just somehow cut off all cell phone service as soon as
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
get in there.
Yeah,
If
something.
it's an emergency,
Something,
they
yeah.
have to call the
a
landline and
landline,
we'll
yeah.
page you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I try not to even like have my cell phone in my room when I go to sleep at night. It's just like, because you can't see all the. I guess I don't know how the fields fuck us up, but like
Oh, yeah.
they can't be good for us to just
No,
be in
it's
constant like cell phone radiation or whatever.
It's
like I
not.
feel like there's something,
Yeah.
I think the idea of meditation and being grounded and all that's really coming into this world right now,
Yeah.
especially since technology continues to
Even
grow
Yes.
even
and
corporate.
continues to consume people. I think more people are going towards meditation and yoga to find
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
I think there's a big demand for that here soon,
Yeah, because
if not already.
we're all gonna go crazy if we don't.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to eventually like do like kind of a wellness center, but like with psychic mediums and intuitive coaches and like Reiki and like yoga and like
Yeah.
whatever it is. I don't know. Everyone that comes on the podcast, I feel like wants to start kind of some kind of wellness center.
We should all do it
should
I
together.
was
all
about to
get
say,
together.
what
We
if-
have all
gonna-
the resources.
It's
Yeah.
going to take a team. So,
Yeah.
we just go all in, right? And I
Yeah.
mean, Atlanta is getting those types of people here now, and it feels way more. I don't know. I'm not saying that the West Coast is not authentic, but I don't know. It feels like authentic people that are coming here. Maybe
yeah.
it could be my perspective.
I think it's also a little bit more of like a wholeheartedness instead of, or at least, it's probably also where we tend to associate ourselves in the whole field, I'll
Yeah.
call it. I don't really know how to group everything together,
He's demanding.
but I'm new. But where was I going with that? Oh, yeah, that I think that because we tend to group yoga and Reiki and meditation together, there's a lot of people that don't necessarily,
Yeah.
and I think that happens a lot, where yoga is looked at as like this forceful, hard, strict workout that
Yeah.
we're pushing our bodies to these extremes and we're holding a 10-minute handstand at the end of class. But, yoga is way more about the mind than about anything else.
And you quickly learn that if you start doing it too.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, that's so many thoughts that I'm having in this pose. Can this pose end so that I can stop thinking about like everything in my life, please?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
And maybe start to feel my body a little more as opposed to being in my mind all the time.
Yeah. And that's the connection to everything that's happening inside of you and being able to, one of my favorite things is when students come back to me and they're like, it's crazy, now I started to notice this is happening and this is happening and this is happening. I'm like, it's because that awareness is building inside of you that you're realizing, oh, wait, when I drive with this hand, this shoulder's pulling forward. I should keep my shoulders squared off and then I probably won't have this ache in the back that I
Right.
usually get when I sleep. Things, it's cool. I don't know. It's a very cool tool to be hyper aware of yourself
Yeah.
and everything that's going on. It's also a very scary tool. Sometimes I get a little hypochondriac about things, but both in my mind
Yeah.
and in my body. But push through.
Where do you teach?
Sacred Thread
Okay. I
in
love that
East
place.
Atlanta and Old Fourth Ward.
I used to live in East Atlanta near the, I guess, Flatiron or something. I
Yeah.
lived near there. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Not anymore, sadly. Now I'm here. But I miss it. Do you think, this is just kind of a random question I had, but like, do you think we had to like go super deep into like technology and like cell phones and all this, creating these identities on Facebook and stuff and like things that aren't really real in order to come back?
So I've heard someone,
Does that make sense?
yeah, there's a job out there that predicts trends, I guess. And I was watching a video or reading an article or something about somebody that was saying that we're actually going to go back to landlines at some point and we'll stop because or not landlines. We're going to go back to using real cameras, not our
Not
phone
cell phones?
cameras.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're going to want those things to be separate again, which I thought was interesting. You have to go to like you have to go to an extreme to come back from it to realize where you really should be, where a healthy medium is. So that's definitely possible. I think that people also need to learn how to monitor their use of things. And that goes to anything from drugs to technology. And technology is just as addictive now. Apparently, they're actually starting to make treatment centers for people that are addicted to technology.
Yeah.
So, if you think about it like that, at one point, drugs, people were abusing them in a different capacity probably than now. Right. And there came back from that. Technology's going in that same direction. People will dial it back. In order to be healthy, you can't be fully diving into anything that much.
Right. And I mean, even in like getting like a number on like how much are you on your phone each day?
Yeah.
Just seeing it.
Which they've started doing now.
Screen time. Yeah, I think it's called screen time with Apple's phone. They were like, oh shit, we got people addicted. We need to help them.
And a lot of people that make apps go to Las Vegas to see how they can make them more addicting before they make them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So some of it's intentional. Some of it's not oh shit, but yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
It's addictive.
It's addictive.
Anything can be addictive. Sugar can be addictive. It doesn't really matter. Phones can be addictive.
Cheese, they say, is actually really addictive.
That makes sense. I love some cheese.
Yeah.
Cheese is pretty
Me
good.
too.
Queso, I could see being addictive.
Yeah.
And that also brings another question. We all addict so easily, and then it's almost like we want to distract from ourselves. And then the question is, well, why? Why do we distract so much? It's uncomfortable to go into a room by yourself and sit there and meditate for an hour.
For sure.
It's uncomfortable. Because then you have to be with everything that you've been ignoring.
100%.
Either in your body or in your mind, right?
I try to warn people before, I encourage a lot of people to go to yin just as much as go to vinyasa and, send out a little gentle warning because people always ask, oh, well, that sounds much easier. Oh, yes, to just be there quietly with your thoughts. Okay. Sure, go ahead.
It feels nice until everything turns on.
Yeah, but that's the whole going into being non-reactive, to being okay with the thoughts that come up, to letting them settle inside of our body and just continuing to pass instead of to let those thoughts start to build inside of our body where we feel ourselves reacting to them.
Right. If you're reacting to a thought, that means it's probably going somewhere inside your body and it has like some kind of emotional connection and you're holding it. You're holding on to it. And then I guess if you can, and you took the meditation class. So like,
not yet.
I mean, it's really hard to just watch them and not like jump up and grab them because like they're so tempting to be like, I got that. That one looks really important. I gotta,
Yeah. And I left my meditation training saying I want to teach meditation. And I've dialed back from that a little bit where I've started to feel that meditation is a very personal experience. And I don't feel that I'm at the point where I can provide that personal experience for someone in a safe manner that helps them. If that makes sense.
It does.
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it is part of sitting there and looking at someone and that they're having a hard time and I just want to give them a hug and I don't know. It's just, and then there's people that have gone through traumas that have a hard time closing their eyes even. Never mind anything else. And there is ways to meditate without closing your eyes. But I think it's so much of a personal experience and I have not gotten to the point where I feel comfortable working through that personal experience with someone, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's like, I've done guided meditations for people before and it's weird. It's just like, I feel inauthentic right now. I feel really unauthentic. I feel like I'm like trying to be zen and stuff, and it just doesn't feel. It feels strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've felt that before, where I've had like guided meditations planned out maybe before a workshop or something like that, where I want people to really connect with their body before we start moving in. And, you know, I'm looking around the room and I'm feeling like maybe this isn't really what we should have done,
Right.
because
Yeah.
it's only connecting for half, and that's fine. That's how anything that you offer to a mass of people is going to happen. You're not going to connect with every person. But yeah, I don't know.
When I first started to meditate, I liked the guided meditation just to kind of, because I didn't really know anything about it, right? And then once I started meditating more often, I just got away from the guided, because I kept on thinking, why do I need this person to tell me what to do? It's my time.
Yeah,
Right, so-
exactly.
I just found my own way.
Yeah, I go back and forth between guided and just like wanting to sit silently.
Yeah.
And maybe that's part of the reason too that I'm not feeling like it's something that I'm ready to offer right now, because that's kind of how I feel about my own meditation as well. Is like,
Right.
just let me do my thing.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
I've got this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back in the space where I'm like, yeah, I'll just sit like 8 minutes in the morning, 8 minutes a night, and that's enough.
Yeah, and it ebbs and flows throughout the year, throughout the week. You know, you do what you can.
Yeah. Then some days you miss.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing with meditation is I've been like, it took me a while to figure this out, is like, you can't just like not be moving your body and exercising and meditate. Like if you just are like, I meditate and I work and I don't exercise, then you're going to be crazy.
Yeah. Then all that energy is getting like up to here and then just settling back down and then getting up to here. Yeah. Got to get it out.
Right. And I don't know if you like know, like believe in chakras and stuff, whatever, but I'm just like, if you're always in your mental energy and you're never bringing it down into your body, like, which is what we do when we exercise, then you're going to be crazy when you meditate.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I don't think it has to be meditation. It just has to be time where you're present with yourself in whatever capacity you do that. Right.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of mindfulness-based stress reduction?
No, but it sounds nice.
Yeah.
So it's MBSR. John Kabat-Zinn, I believe, is the person who invented it.
Is that the nonviolent communication? Wait, NVC or no? Wait, what did you say? Sorry.
John Kabat-Zinn. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's it. I'll check on that.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure he's the one who made it. And the very first, it's all about meditation, essentially, and using meditation as a tool for people that have other illnesses, or maybe they don't.
Yeah.
But just knowing that it helps to improve every aspect of your life. But the very first exercise that they do in this center is they sit down with a raisin and they just eat the raisin very mindfully. First, they look at it like you've never looked at a raisin before.
Look weird.
Yeah. And then you take a little bite of it, you explore it in your mouth like you never have before. And, you know, that intense presence of being there with the raisin, you know, that's meditation. That's a great start to meditation. That's an undivided presence with something.
Yeah. Mindful eating,
Exactly.
which I noticed before I got into this sphere, I would always eat something and watch TV. And then on one day I was like, I'm not even like paying attention to the food or really the TV. I'm just thinking about shit. Well, these other two things are happening. And it'd be interesting if I just, so I try to do this every now and then where I just eat, and that's the only thing I do.
Yeah. I try that every now and then.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's hard.
it is mindful eating. I'm always like, wow, I bet I would eat way less if I did that.
Yeah.
Because I could keep eating all day long.
Well, I mean, you got the last name for it.
But yes, I do. Very true. But I definitely think that is a skill. That is a skill.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Yeah, we did. Me and my husband did a month where we put everything away. We put our cell phones away. We put our computers away because, with me going to school, I have me going to school, my internship, and teaching. My hours are limited. So sometimes we're eating dinner and I'm writing a paper. So, or we have the TV on because it's my only time to just like turn everything off and turn the TV on. We did a month where we put everything away and we just sat and we ate with each other, and it was so nice.
Yeah.
But then that month came up and we were like, all right, back to our
Back to
old
it's a
ways.
treat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your body wants to get back to it too.
Yeah.
You're like, this is going to be fun again.
I know. And it just takes one little change in your routine. Like maybe we went somewhere for a weekend or something, and when we came back, we were just back at it again. Just that easily.
That brings up something I think is important and we don't talk about much, is like how when you work all day and then you have another thing to do and then you have a significant other, then you two actually don't really spend a lot of time connecting heart to heart. It gets very minimalized.
Yeah.
Is that hard to balance? I mean,
We're getting better
Yeah.
at it. Definitely. And we're working on it. I make sure that I have one day a week that I devote to just spending time with him.
Yeah.
It's not something that I've always done. It's something that I've learned is necessary. We do a lot of grounding techniques with each other to just kind of bring ourselves home. He has a high stress job. He comes home. Sometimes we'll eat together. Sometimes he's answering emails and I'm writing a paper, and
Right.
we're together, but we're not together. And, we definitely stress that and we talk about that. Yes, technically we've spent every night together this week, but we haven't spent any time with each other. And he is very aware of that. Sometimes more so than I am, because I tend to keep going. But having that one day a week, and then we try before we go to sleep, I think we're doing a better job of it now, to just spend time with each other and it just be the two of us. Once we go upstairs into the bedroom, it's just the two of us and our dog. And our dog. But, that's like our quality time to just look directly at each other, talk to each other, make sure we're both okay, make sure we're both on the same page. Because as soon as we wake up in the morning, we start all over again.
Right.
And it's go, go, go. And we're going into this season now where even our weekends are scheduled for us because we have just so much going on between family things with friends. It's just a constant
Go.
planned. Yeah. To find a moment to just breathe and to just be with each other is difficult.
Yeah.
But, we do this one thing that kind of helps ground us when I feel like we're going a lot or like we haven't truly connected in a little bit, where we call it 3 things. We say 3 things that we like about the other person physically, 3 things that we like that the other person does like for themselves out in the world, and 3 things that we like about the way that the other person treats us.
Cool.
And it kind of just reminds you why you're with each other a little bit.
Yeah.
When you're floating all around, it's like, hey, I do see you. I see what you're doing and I love you for it.
Yeah.
But keep doing it and know that I'm here. Kind of a little check-in. It's helpful every once in a while.
My friend Joe does. He and his wife get busy too. So every morning he always writes one thing that he is thankful for that his wife does. And just to remind him.
Yeah.
Because it's easy. It's
Yeah.
easy to get in Floatyville, whatever it is.
Yeah. To get lost out there in this way that society says that we live. And also, like, our schedules are different and our schedules are only going to get more different.
Right.
Yeah.
It's never going to be this perfect match. I have more time during the day. He has more time at night. But it's just wanting to work on it too, and never losing that, just like with anything else. just like with continuing to learn about yourself, you're continuing to learn and explore your relationship with that other person, continuing to grow it.
Yeah.
You know, it's all that desire to continue to evolve, because once something becomes stagnant, it starts to die off.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know people that when they spend time together, they watch TV or whatever. And like, there's never any time actually spent connecting anymore, unless they go out drinking or something, maybe. And there's, no date, whatever you want to call it, date nights, whatever it is. It's just like, there's no meaningful connection to be like, how can we continue to explore each other and continue to be vulnerable with each other?
Yeah.
And just, be naked with each other.
Yeah.
Be authentic with
That
each other,
too,
but be
Yeah.
authentic,
Yeah.
and like, you actually see me for me, and I'm not putting on some mask when I see you. You actually see me.
Yeah.
I think that's super important and really underappreciated in society sometimes,
Definitely. That was actually something that I was thinking about, because, 'tis the time of year, gratitude, but I've been thinking about how grateful I am for the fact that I don't have to explain myself to him, that it's just known. And he surprises me more and more all the time with, he's like, well, yeah, but I know that this is really how you're feeling about this, and this is really where this is going, or this is what you wish you were doing, or
Right.
anything. And I'm like, how do you know that?
Intuition.
Yes.
But
All
also,
right. I know. Yeah, but
yeah, I mean,
it's awesome.
there is a way to just intuitively know what the other person needs, and they don't have to say a word. 100%.
Yeah. And that's built off of maintaining that connection and maintaining that time of being truly present with each other,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being present. Well, we've been present here today. We're probably going to close up. Is there anything you want to like plug for yourself, your Instagram, website, yoga studio, anything like that?
Sure. My website is deanapanza.com. DEANA.
We'll put it in the comment.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, my name's spelled really weirdly.
Yeah.
We'll put a link to it.
Yeah.
My Instagram is deanapanza.yoga. And you can come practice with me at Sacred Thread.
Yeah.
Either location.
In the Atlanta area.
Any
Yeah.
particular days you work there? Or just all over
Sunday
the place?
through Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool
Good stuff.
beans. Well, thank you for
Yeah.
coming on and sharing yourself and like being a human with us and like having this conversation.
Yeah.
It means a lot. And
Yes,
we're
thank you.
Thanks for
It was a good
having
time.
me.
We're grateful for having you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Toodles for now.